From WDWNT, the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is ParksCenter. What is up, people? Welcome. It is Wednesday night. This is ParksCenter. I'm Rob Whiteside, and we have scoured the globe to come up with the most brilliant minds in Disney, and this is what we got. Patrick Hackett.
Chimichangas, everyone.
No. Okay. Jill Diffendahl.
Work on it.
Hello, everybody.
It's already off the rails, folks. Kamila Sanders.
Hi, everyone.
And there's one more. I think I'm trying to remember. It's, I want to say Pete Carney.
That's me. Cyvaco, everyone. Happy to see you on this Wednesday.
I feel like that's not correct. Cyvaco. That's not right.
Oh, I'm sorry. In English, Cyvaco. There you go. I'm sorry.
Okay. So we've got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. I'm going to try to figure out how to do that. We have I want to start off by talking about there's a new look. There's a new Disney look. I was a cast member 150,000 years ago. We got a lookbook when we first started, and they said, hey, guys, this is how you have to look. There's a new look. There's a Disney look for cast members to include gender-inclusive hairstyles and what they're calling appropriate tattoos. And then we got a couple of pictures here of what that might look like. And I'm going to say can't read her name tag, so we'll just call her Denise. Has this great tattoo on her arm here. So we've got that going on. Again, 100 years ago, the book said you couldn't have like facial hair. If you were a guy, you couldn't have earrings. If you were a female, you couldn't have more than one set of earrings. There were a lot of rules here. It looks like they've loosened up these rules a lot for 2021. I'm going to cut this to Patrick first because you're the best looking guy on this panel after, Pete's agreeing with you. So
Fighting words.
How do you feel?
I think it's awesome. I think it's great. We're moving into 2021 slowly but surely. I think back to the Yankees and how they've alienated their players by their ridiculous standards of haircuts and no mustaches and whatnot. Your tattoos do not make you a good or bad employee. I'm glad that they're not letting objectionable ones out. But on the whole, this is a great step forward. It's going to allow a lot more people the chance to be cast members. And as we've been saying through the whole pandemic, cast members are the real magic. And people who want to be cast members should get that opportunity.
Yeah. I have some other examples of some of the new costumes to show off here.
It looks like Star Trek.
Yeah.
Those are Star Trek costumes. Those are totally Star Trek
outfits
costumes
that we have here.
For sure.
Although, again, I'm going to say this is what I had to wear when I worked there.
Wow.
So,
no, you did not. Are there pictures?
It was belted.
We need pictures.
Amazing.
Nope, it's not going to happen.
That is amazing.
But again, it's come a long way. I walk along and see a lot of people, like the cast members today, and the outfits they're wearing. I'm like, man, that looks so good. I wish I could have worn that. Pete, you're fashion forward tonight. So how are you feeling about all this?
I'm rocking the D, baby. Wrong side. Over here. I'm all about this. I don't know why people are kind of hesitating to it. I feel like name another organization or corporation that hasn't done this, and I know it's Disney, but again, I think Walt Disney would be like, what are you guys waiting for? I think Patrick hit the nail on the head, is that you're not judging someone today based on a tattoo they have on their a little something that says something about their mother or father. Like, come on, what are we doing here? I think this is something that should have been done years ago. I'm just happy to see that they're finally catching up. Yeah, I'm not worried about this. And, of course, there'll be rules and guidelines. My buddy has a meeting all about it this weekend, so I'm going to hear from him what Disney has to say to the cast members. But and also, Dylan was looking fashionable with those fingernails and earrings. Looking straight fire, wow. Dylan.
All right, coming to you, Kamila.
Yeah, what I do think is interesting about this is, Disney is kind of selling, this fairy tale. They're selling a story. And so I kind of understand the hesitation around some of it, right? Like there's this question of like, if you're Prince Charming, obviously you're going to fit that role. But like if you're, are you working at Peter Pan's flight, looking a certain way? So I kind of understand they're trying to sell this story. They're trying to sell this magic. And so I think, there's this question of like, what does that look like? How will people react to certain things? So I do kind of understand the hesitation around it. And, maybe kind of the tepid introduction to some of these changes. I do think they're good. But I also understand why they might say, kind of within these boundaries.
Yeah. Jill, do you have anything before we move on?
I was just going to add, I think absolutely right. Every other corporation has done this. I mean, the rules that you worked under were the same rules that other companies used back in the day, and they have gradually been loosened to be more inclusive. Because here's the thing, if you are way too hung up on what people look like, you're going to miss out on some of the best talent. And that's who we want as cast members. The other thing I want to say about this, and this kind of goes along, I teared up watching that video they put out about, to all who come to this happy place, welcome, and talking about this new key of inclusion. And, in line with all the other stuff we've been talking about, whether it's Splash Mountain or Jungle Cruise, like, you normalize what you see. And I think seeing other people that look like you is really empowering, but seeing other people who don't look like you helps you normalize differences among all of us. And I think that's a really good thing. And I really appreciate that Disney is moving in this direction.
Yeah. Well, and
plus,
just
now Maui can be a cast member.
One more look. I mean, come on. So
that's amazing.
Who approved that, though? Like, even in that day and age, like you have to look at that and be like, that's not right.
Yeah, no.
It looks like you should be stuffed and on Living with the Land.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Haunted Mansion a little bit. There are some changes. We knew there was new magic coming to the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland when they opened it up. They had shut it down before the pandemic, and they are opening it up with new magic, including this portrait of April to December. I mean, it looks pretty nice. Everything looks pretty fresh and fancy. I'm excited about this. I wish I was going to that. But the thing that caught my eye was this article that I read on this rag, wdwnt.com, that is the Disney is considering removing the hanging corpse from the stretching room scene in the Haunted Mansion. More details released about the Disneyland updates. So I don't know that this is actually something that's going to happen, but it's clearly a conversation that they're happening. I guess I wanted to put it to you guys is, does this need to go? I mean, we know some of the changes that they've already put together about Splash Mountain, about the Jungle Cruise, things that have been talked about Peter Pan have to happen. Does this have to happen? And again, I want to kind of I'll start with Kamila on this one.
I am excited to hopefully see this in person at some point in the near future. I have no doubt that it's really well done from the video. Even though it doesn't look like there's a lot of huge changes, everything looks really nice. The last time I was in Disneyland, right before the parks closed, the Haunted Mansion was closed for these refurbishments, so I'm excited to see them. I will say the Hanging Man scene, it's not something I think about often, but I can remember having seen it before and being like, oh, that's a little dark. I don't know that it bothers me or that I think it needs to be removed. I don't know that I would miss it if they did remove it. So I don't really have strong feelings either way, but I am excited to see this, and I have no doubt it's really well done. Cool.
Jill?
Yeah, I mean, somebody said it in the chat, like, you don't even necessarily exactly realize what it is you're looking at. Like, I feel like the vast majority of guests who are infrequent guests don't actually even know what it is they're looking at up there. It's so quick and it's so far away that I don't know. I wish they'd put something in there that you can see and that actually makes a little bit more sense with the line. there's always my way. But in general, like, I'm so excited for all the other changes that they're doing. I love the cat being put in there as the nod to Exitensio and his original kind of storyline and idea for the mansion. Reading about that again made me realize just how much I think that would have been such a cool concept for the attraction. The wicker chair, and that being maybe a nod to Raleigh Crump. So I love that the things that they're doing is so is really an homage to Disney history and to the Imagineers who made Disneyland what it was, that it's not just some extra additions, obviously putting in new drapes and new wallpaper and whatever, that's great, but it's those little touches that us Disney, really, fangirls and fanboys really love.
Yeah. Peter?
So on the first note, really excited for these updates. I think it looks amazing, and I think it's kind of unfair because Disneyland's Haunted Mansion always looks a little bit better, and I think it's because they get that little bit of Christmas love every season, so they kind of have to clean it, put new stuff in, take all that out, clean it, and rotate, compared to ours in Florida. But I mean, improvements are great. Who doesn't like enhancements? These are all good things. They didn't pull anything out. This is the good news we look for. This is the kind of article we want to read. On the other side of it, the hanging scene. I agree again with what you guys were saying. That I didn't even notice or kind of even know what it was until my second or third time, or someone told me to even look up and look for it. With that being said, as someone let's put it this way: they don't have to show it. I agree with Kamila when she said it. I mean, I thought it was perfect. She said just a little dark. I think you can have the same effect without even showing a hanging body, and I think it's less offensive or less triggering, where if they just had a projection of like a broken glass window and then that was it with a screen, or even you could project glass falling towards you before the lights go out as your first jump scare too, even falling down on that screen. Mm-hmm. So there's so much you could do in that room and have it be fun. You don't need to see, I think a swinging body was more that shock factor back in the day where it's like, this is cheap, we can put a mannequin with a noose around its neck, hang it, it'll cost us $5. I think now with the technology and the times have come up, we're making all these changes. This, to me, is an easy one that won't offend almost anyone, I think.
Yeah, so Patrick, as I throw this to you, the dialogue in the queue says, of course, there's always my way, and you look straight up, and if you're not seeing a swinging body, what are we seeing?
Man, this is really tough because I'm reading some of our great fans in the chat and talking about how triggering it could be, and having suicide personally affect me in my life. It's tough. I think we're approaching the time where we need disclaimers on rides. Haunted Mansion as a whole is a very dark ride. If they kept it, I think a disclaimer in the front would be great. Maybe it's time to come up with a rating system for rides. Height doesn't always matter, like the content for a child. If it stays, I'm okay. Like I said, some content warnings, some trigger warnings for people, maybe a ride rating system. And if it goes, I'm not that bad. I think Pete's bit is a lot better than that. The jumping out the window is more of like a panicked escape thing than something that could be so offensive and upsetting to people like suicide.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, let's try to move on to something else. The Avengers Campus. I don't know how to make a segue on that one. Sorry. The Avengers Campus is opening June 4th at Disney California Adventure. We knew it wasn't going to open with the park. We were originally told it was going to open in July of 2020. I don't know why they didn't. Why didn't they open it July 2020? What happened that they couldn't open it? I'm upset. But we've got some great pictures of what it looks like on on the inside. This with the Quinjet on top of the Avengers gift shop here looks amazing. I'm really excited to see the PIM test kitchen. I think that's great. All this stuff looks fantastic. It is a little bit of a tease because we're talking about this is still 2 months away, and then who knows when we're going to get to go see it. But I know that you were out in California, Kamila, so I'm going to talk to you about this first. And in post-show, we want to get all the information about your experience out there. But anything you can share with us, any glimpses you got of Avengers Campus from where you were?
Well, what's so funny is so they have the walls up, and like right behind it, you can kind of see parts of Avengers Campus poking out. And so what people were doing is they would walk by, especially if they were tall or if they had like, just something, they would like raise their camera up high in their hand and like be on their tiptoes and walk past it. It was really funny to see that. But I'm excited to see this. I'm not the biggest Marvel fan in the world, but I wasn't a big fan of Star Wars either, and I thought Galaxy's Edge was really well done and impressive to see in person. It's interesting because having been to DCA many times, including many times right before the parks closed, I really didn't even notice this coming together. So it kind of just... it almost just feels like it kind of popped up and they put it in there. So it's going to be interesting to see how big it really feels, because anybody who's been to DCA knows it is not a huge park, and they kind of made space and made a way where there wasn't necessarily a way. But the concept art we've been given so far looks amazing. I'm excited for it to open and see what it really looks like. And I'm excited for Guardians to have kind of, I don't know, a little family around it, to have more going on right there in that area. I think it should be really nice.
That sounds adorable, a little family around it. I'm going to cut to someone I hope is a little bit more of a fan of Marvel. Patrick, how are you feeling about this stuff? Are you loving it?
I need to get to California. I need to get there immediately. I need about 5 or 10 of the little spider droids. I forgot their actual name, but I'll just call it a spider droid. It looks amazing. This is what Superhero Island over at the other park should look like. Like this looks like a lived-in, authentic superhero area, and it's tremendous. I wish I remembered that we were going to talk about Marvel today instead of having a big Star Wars display behind me, and got some more Marvel stuff. I can't wait. It's amazing. It's the number one reason for me to get over to Disneyland. I need to see it. I need it now.
Pete, you've seen all 23 movies from Marvel 100 times. So how are you feeling about that?
I was about to say, my response would be like, looks cool. Like,
and then moving on.
Wow.
Let's go ahead. Yeah,
Looks
let's go
cool.
move on to Jill. She'll probably have the same.
No, I'm excited for it. I'm mostly excited for the PIM tasting lab. That's the thing I'm excited about. I don't know how I feel about the Spider-Man thing. I'll know better when I get to ride it. I think the Doctor Strange part looks super cool. Like those nighttime shots are amazing. I can't wait to see that in person. The Quinjet, yeah, that's all awesome. I guess I think it depends who you care about most in terms of the Avengers characters, and like, Ant-Man and the Wasp are not always everybody's top of the list. Doctor Strange is not always everybody's top of the list. Spider-Man is not always everybody's top of the list. So, you've kind of got, I know Patrick's staring daggers at me right now. I guess it just depends who, like, your favorite Avengers are, how excited you're going to be about this. And some of these are not my favorite Avengers. That's all.
The answer is always Spider-Man. Well, and it is. So Patrick is ready for some Star Wars. So we're gonna talk about Star Wars, and Uncle Josh told us when we talked the other day that there was going to be a real lightsaber, and part of me is like, oh my gosh, this sounds amazing. And part of me is like, I just spent $200 on a fake one at Sally's. The technology like that they're showing here, like somebody showing how it's, explaining how it works, is kind of amazing to think about. Like, why didn't we think about this before? That, when you push the button, that it's gonna, extend the way a tape measure would, and it'll show like the light. I'm excited about this, but Patrick, you're gonna get how many of these when they first come out? All of them? One in each color?
Like at least 10 or 15, I think, just to have, a few here and there. I actually don't know where it is. I have a pretty good looking Kylo Ren one. But I have nothing but respect for my CEO out there wielding a lightsaber, doing Walt's work while Mr. Robato's just cashing fat checks and destroying things. This is amazing, and we talked about this back in 2018, I think, that this is going to be capable of interacting with real-world objects. this is what we had in mind for Star Wars Land. This is what we always thought about Galaxy's Edge. It was supposed to be lived in. You're supposed to be able to interact with everything. And I'm just hoping that we're finally getting what we were promised with Galaxy's Edge. Not that it's not amazing. It just was supposed to be so much more. This is a great first step.
Yeah, Jill?
I just we all love Josh Tomorrow. Like everyone loves, like you can't not love Josh Tomorrow. Like I get a smile on my face like when people talk about Josh Tomorrow. But the fact that he like does this massive, incredible mic drop moment where it's just like, no, I have a real lightsaber. Like it's what everybody wants, and Josh Tomorrow has it. It's amazing, and it's so cool. Like even just looking at the videos that people put together about like how it works, it totally makes sense. Like my dad has a tape measure that you push a button and it whatever the opposite of the word retract is, it extracts by itself. I'm like, oh wow, that totally makes sense. But it like just so cool. I can't I want to see this thing. Like they need to start releasing some videos of this thing because it looks so cool.
Yeah, I think we talked about that before the show. Like, why don't we see this video? Like, I don't know who saw the original videos of Josh like coming out with it and saying, yeah, it's real. But yeah, I'm all down for more Josh Tomorrow videos, and I'm all down for actually seeing this thing working. Why wouldn't they have this out there? Kamila, talk to me. Why wouldn't they have this out there?
You know, I don't know, but I'm excited that it's coming. And can I just say, like, this is what Disney does to the community is they'll bring in these outside franchises like Star Wars, like Marvel, and they'll make us all fans when maybe we otherwise wouldn't be. And they'll get us excited about this lightsaber. And again, not even really a Star Wars fan, but I had a Savi's reservation to build a lightsaber. It got canceled when the parks closed. So I'm hoping to get this version. And I will say, I think Disney does a really good job with the Star Wars merch. I've got Resistance merch. I've got, in my cart in Shop Disney right now, I've got First Order merch. I don't even understand, but I want it, and it's cute.
Kamila's making it rain out there. She's just like, whatever, whatever. Pete, thoughts?
Let's get it all.
No, this is really cool. I'm excited for Star Wars fans. I guess I'll save my comments for when we actually see the video, because then we'll probably talk about it again.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Can I?
Go ahead. Yeah, you can.
Oh, I was just gonna say one thought I do have is I'm curious how fast it like goes out. Like, is it a slow or like? Because I feel like, you know, in the movies, like it's so quick, like it just pops out. Yeah. And so I'm curious, like how quickly that happens.
I'm impressed with the Savi's ones and the way that when you turn them on and the light, like, you know, lights it up and the sounds and all that. So that was great, and they feel like, you know, like you're actually holding the lightsaber. And obviously, it would have been better had it been a blade that extended and retracted. Again, I feel like I've, you know, I mean, will I have a collector's item, or have I been sold a bad bill of goods? I don't know. Can we return them? Can we exchange them for real ones? I would like to know the answers to these questions. So speaking of answering questions, there's a thing they talked about back in 2019 at D23 called the Disney Genie. And, you know, for us, you know, we've got, we're all huge fans. All of you out there are huge fans of Disney. You kind of know how to do Disney. To me, this is not so exciting. I get it for, you know, a family that has never been to Disney, but when I look at what the Hendricks family has been offered by the Disney Genie, the Disney, like, you know, so the Hendricks family has pulled up the Disney Genie app, and they said, hey, Disney Genie, tell us what we should see when we go on our once-in-a-lifetime trip to Disney. And they're like, well, don't forget lunch at Woody's Lunchbox. You can't pass that one up. And, oh, by the way, you're going to want to swing by Star Wars Launch Bay and see if anybody's still there. And then, you know, don't miss Lightning McQueen. I feel like this is, I don't know, maybe I'm just too much into the fandom, but I want to throw this one back to Kamila first, again, as the travel planner here. How do you feel about the Disney Genie? We don't even know when it's coming. They've just renewed the fact that it is coming. Yeah,
I mean, I will say, I think something like this is definitely needed. I think for a lot of families who this is their first time, this is their once in a lifetime, it will be very helpful. Looking at it though, I'm with you. I want to see more. Right now, it kind of looks like a lot of the same information that is in the My Plan area. Or I feel like a similar feature previously existed where you could add in, obviously your fast pass, your dining, but also you could add in parades you wanted to see, shows, that kind of information. So I'm with you. I'm hoping it's more detailed. I'm hoping you can add more than just your fast pass. Like you can actually build out a full day itinerary. I think for families who worry about, okay, I'm in the parks, I don't know which way to go in Epcot, that kind of a thing. Those are the types of questions I get asked. I mean, literally just today, someone said, what is there to do in the parks for little kids? And, it's kind of like, how do you begin to approach answering that? So I think for a lot of people, this will be a great tool.
Awesome. And before I move forward, is it just me or is Pete gone? It looks like Pete's gone. Either that or he is super good at sitting still. So because of that, let me go to you, Jill. I mean, do you need the Disney Genie? I mean, do you think it's going to be good? Here's the thing that worries me again about the poor Hendricks family is they've never been, and that's where they're going to send them? Like if you were planning this trip for the Hendricks family, Jill, would you send them to Star Wars Launch Bay?
Do I like them? That's the question. Here's the genius. Okay. Here's the genius of this app is Disney always has stuff that people don't really want to do, whether it's Disney Junior Dance Party, which I'm sorry, but give Disney Junior Dance Party a shot because it's a heck of a good time. Or Mama Melrose or, the crappy restaurants and the poorly attended rides, the wait for teacups is always only like 10 minutes. If it's driving people to those things, then I don't know. I think it's smart for them to try to maximize use of things that are underused by driving people there with the app. But then at the same time, it's kind of like, well, when are people going to realize that they're getting duped by the app? I'm curious if this thing operates on or talks to My Disney Experience, because that's always going to be the question. Is My Disney Experience is like a hunk of junk built on top of a hunk of junk built on top of a hunk of junk. It's like a toad on a bump on a log in a hole in the middle of the sea. And so where if Genie has to talk to that, then there's going to absolutely be problems. But if this is a whole new app that's just pinging and a database somewhere to pull some data, then maybe this will actually be an app that works well. I just want to see if Disney can build an app that works. That's my big curiosity about this.
Wow, you're asking a lot. Patrick?
So I don't know how much of this I'm supposed to reveal, and if I get in trouble later, I'll just bite the bullet. A while ago, we had an app called WWNT Now that fed into the actual raw data that they don't show everyone. Disney eventually found out and asked us to stop, and we did. So we had actual wait times. If this is tapping into that and using actual wait times to build what's an itinerary, if you look at the little GIF that's in there, we have the Hendricks family still, and the Magic Kingdom one says the royal treatment, and they kind of go through and they drag out an attraction and put in a meet and greet, which is great, but it's not a fast pass. If you look, there's different fast passes. So what it's trying to do is actually maximize your time. But like Jill was saying, I mean, most Disney apps are held together with spit and duct tape. So I don't know if this is going to be functional. They did plan a much better day for the Hendricks family at Animal Kingdom than they did at Hollywood Studios. So that was nice to see. It has potential. It has a lot of potential, and this is what they've been talking about since the advent of Magic Bands, is that they're going to try and steer people away from crowded areas of the park because they know that doesn't make people happy, and happy people spend more money. I'd love to see if it works, but I honestly forgot it was even a thing.
Yeah.
Well, and here's Disney has an insane amount of data. And not just data on us individually and, what we're tapping our Magic Bands to and what park we're in and all that, but Disney has all of this data on wait times and fast pass availability and how restaurant reservations fluctuate. If Disney's not utilizing that data in any kind of way that is like helping them maximize what people are doing, keeping people in low crowd places, all of that, like they're missing the boat. Like data is where business is and where business is going. And if Disney has all this data about what's happening in the parks every day and they're not using it, then they're completely missing the boat.
Yeah, for a full report on data, we go to Pete. Pete, you want to talk about data? No, nothing. Okay. So we've been told that Pete's internet is going through some Disney trials of its own. So we're going to move on to the next topic, which is there are Epcot updates happening. We knew this. Epcot is a war zone right now, and there are a lot of things happening. And there's this great the construction of the Cosmic Rewind. It's starting to look like the drawings that we've seen. It may someday be like this spectacular. We're really hoping. They're adding all these points of light to Spaceship Earth. When I was looking at this and all the lights, like them sticking out, that kind of hurts my heart a little bit. I'm looking forward to it looking like this someday. The Pin Traders is going to be shutting down as they do some work on the sidewalks out front. But I think the big news is this Mouse Gear is getting a new name, and it's going to be called Creations Shop. Jill?
This is literally the worst change they've made in the parks in decades. I am so upset that they're changing Mouse Gear. Why? It was so good. It's so essential to classic Epcot. Actually, it's not. It's not like Mouse Gear was always around. But I just, like, why? And I'm sorry, but Creation Shop is so stupid. Like, that's just the dumbest, worst name ever. It's like as bad as the new name that, what is it, IBM has for their new company, like Kindrel or whatever it's called. Like, who is coming up with names? How are branding companies like so deceiving people into thinking they have good ideas when they're literally just like getting some monkeys in a room with typewriters and coming up with stuff like this? Just, sorry, this is the thing that aggravates me more than any other change.
Kamila, you'll tell all your people, don't forget to stop by the Creation Shop.
I mean, I think they still should. Look, I'm just excited that Club Cool is coming back, but I agree that the name Creation Shop, it does seem really unique. It almost makes you wonder, like, are they going for like the space theme, like evolution type of like vibe, or like what's the reason for it? But I mean, I miss Mouse Gear. It was such a classic. It's always such a pleasure to walk through. So we'll see. I mean, I think they can do some cool things. I am excited for all the changes overall coming to Epcot. I think it's going to look really, really nice when everything is done and the walls are down. But yeah, this one's a head scratcher.
But you mentioned the Club Cool as well. So we were told at the same time that Club Cool will be making its resurgence as we kind of knew it would happen. So more Beverly, please. Am I right?
No.
No? Okay.
That's not right. No.
Patrick, your thoughts?
Okay, let's run this down really quick. You could have went with Mouse Gears and just brought it back. You could have went with the Centaurium and gone throwback. You could have came up with something completely different but on brand, but no. Somewhere you decided that Creation Shop was what you wanted to go with. Everyone who names things at this company needs to be fired. I don't know who is in charge of naming things. It's not Josh D'Amaro and his handsome self. It's someone else, and they need to go. Like, really, alien swirling saucer? Come on. You have to see that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But this is, I mean, how do we feel about the aesthetic of the store in general? Like, we have a lot more windows here. It's very open.
I hate it. It feels like a mall.
No, I mean, it feels like an Apple store, actually. It's like, for some reason.
Yep, you got it.
I just want to know, like, what can I create at the Creation store? That's what I would like to know.
It is a little misleading.
Yeah,
I think you can create a hole in your wallet.
It feels almost like something from Galaxy's Edge, that it's like the creature stall or like the droid depot where you can make your own droid. Like, that's what it gives me the vibe of, and yet I don't think that's really what's happening here in the slightest.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate what they're doing, and it's supposed to be like they're supposed to have like original artwork in there and stuff, and I think that's an awesome idea, but just why are you calling it something so dumb?
Yeah.
You know what?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say it might look really cool when it's like storming to be in there and like have the windows. Like that might be cool.
I was wondering, do we need one more Josh D'Amaro appreciation shot? I mean, do we just need that just to again remind us what we're all here for, right? Yeah. I mean, amazing.
I'm here for Josh tomorrow.
We're all just here for Josh tomorrow. That's really all that it's about. So the last thing we're going to talk about here is that there are a lot of changes coming to Disneyland Paris that they've talked about very recently. But my question is this one that I've Google translated at the bottom, which is, when is this thing going to open? I mean, it's got lots of cool stuff happening here. You've got the Cars road trip sign is up. That looks sweet. I'm excited about that. You've got the Disneyland Paris, the Art of Marvel Hotel has these great name tags, and they're all going to say Patrick just because of Patrick Hackett. They're all going to say Patrick, so that's cool.
I need that name tag.
Yeah, new character appearances and entertainment. That's going to be kind of cool. I mean, again, this stuff looks amazing. And then they've got this very weird sign thing going on for this attraction. That's kind of crazy. But so this is opening. They're going to have their own Avengers campus. That's going to be a thing. That's going to be the European campus of Avengers campus. All of this stuff looks great, but we still don't know when this park is opening. So how are we feeling about all this? Let me go to Jill first.
I mean, I'm excited about it. I don't know. Paris is not first international park on my list to go visit, and none of this stuff is putting it up there. But that being said, like I think it looks cool. Like I find it. Here's what the thing that I found most interesting about all of this is the fact that they were basically able to completely overhaul and redo the entire backlot tram tour in what feels like almost no time at all. Like the fact that this new Cars ride is going to open when the park reopens. And like it used to be the backlot tram tour in Paris not that long ago, and now suddenly like there's a whole new ride. Like that's the thing that impressed me most of all, because I feel like Disney works incredibly slow on things like this. But I also really appreciate the fact that there are some nods to the backlot tram tour and Catastrophe Canyon and all that they've kept in the ride. So that makes me happy. But yeah, it surprises me that that they're not opening. That they haven't even announced an opening date, given the fact that like England is reopening, and I know England and France are not the same place, but it just seems like they are. And even I think we all thought California was going to be the last place to reopen, and now California's got an opening date, and Paris still doesn't.
Well, and they had a couple places open, but I think it was only fair they be shut down on their birthday too. So, Patrick, where does this fall on your list of places to go? And is there anything here that's like beckoning you?
The hotel is definitely beckoning me. I'm a huge Marvel fan, and I would love to stay there. But let's flash back to the conversation we just had. That's also a terrible name for a hotel. Hotel New York, the Art of Avengers, the Art of Marvel. That's an atrocious name. Yeah. Like, come on, do better. It looks amazing. The name tags are all going to be Patrick, so I definitely approve of that. Fun fact is I've ridden their backlot tour and never rode the one that was in Orlando. I really enjoyed it, so hopefully the Cars ride can bring as much fun. If you're in Paris and you have extra time, go. Don't go out of your way to go there, but it's a fun place.
Yeah. Kamila?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Europe, in some key places, including Paris, they've done this thing where they kind of go through these full shutdowns, and then it opens back up a little bit, and then it's like right back to full shutdown. So I think that's what's keeping the park closed. And I feel like there, it's just, it doesn't seem like it's as much of a priority to get open. I don't know that as many people are trying to get there. But hopefully it can reopen soon. I always like seeing the costumes they have at Disneyland Paris, not only for the people who work there, the cast members, but also for the characters. So, it'll be nice when finally all the parks are just reopened, and hopefully that means we're we're past this moment.
Yeah. Bring us home, Pete. What do you got to say? Awesome. Fantastic.
Poor Pete.
Well, thank you guys for watching. That's all we've got for you tonight. Unless you are a Wigs member, and then we've got a post show, and we're gonna ask Kamila all about her trip that she just took out to get a touch of Disney out in California. We love you guys, our Wigs members. Thank you guys for being Wigs members. Jill, anything about Wigs members you'd like to talk about tonight, other than how much we love them?
They're the best.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't think we have any particular new
No news
to share about Wigs other than they're amazing and we love them. And thank you to all our Wigs members.
Yep. Okay. And make sure that if you are not a Wigs member, you can check out more about the program. Go to patreon.com/WDWNT. So that's it for tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys next week.